Amazing. Okay, we're recording. Okay, yeah. All right. Good morning, everybody. It is Tענית Aster, Hatavshin Pei Gimel, March 6th, 2023, Yud Gimel Adar. It's already so hard to hear, so please let's try to keep one conversation if we can. Okay, so awesome. Okay, good. Okay, I really am going to ask you please to not talk because I already can't hearing it from this ear and this ear. Okay, sorry. Okay, amazing. Okay, good. Boker Tov. Just take a moment to breathe and to arrive. So I hope that we'll be able to dip into both text and unpacking text. So I wanted to just begin with so we'll touch a little bit on what is simcha, right? Mishanichnas Adar Marvin b'simcha. And this is supposed to be this day of La Yehudim, not supposed to, sorry, let me elevate that. It is a day, will be and is a day of La Yehudim, Haita Ora v'simcha, Sason v'ikar. It's all very intentional. La Yehudim, those who are connecting into an energetic field called Hod, right? I'm not so sorry. Yeah, but I'm just yeah, because it's like another okay. It's very intentional. We're not called Israel here. We're not called Ibrahim. We're called Yehudim. We're not called Bnei Israel. We're not called Yaakov. We're called Yehudim. There's a reason we're called Yehudim. La Yehudim, for those who are right, manifesting and living and dwelling in this energy called Yehudim. Haita, Ora, light. Remember that Ol and Tov in the Torah is interchangeable. V'yal Hashem et ha'ol ki tov. Hashem saw the light, and it is good. Light is good. Good is light, right? Remember Moshe Rabbeinu was born, the house fills with light, and he's called Tov or Tuvia, right? The goodness of God, right? And by light, let's remember that we mean awareness, being awake, consciousness, right? As opposed to subconscious or unconscious, acting in ways where we're doing things driven by parts of us that we don't even know are the parts that are driving us. Okay, and those parts are usually old stories, beliefs, ideas, fears, trauma responses, right? Okay, so as we start to wake up, that's what we mean by elevated consciousness. It's become more aware of my actions, my emotions, and my thoughts, not so enmeshed that they are reality, but there's some space between me, the observer, and my actions, me, the observer, and my emotions, me, the observer, and my thoughts and feelings and ideas and beliefs, right? And the more that, and I don't mean a self-conscious space, I don't mean the judge or the critic, I mean the compassionate observer that is holding it all as almost like a scientist, but with more compassion. Oh, isn't that interesting? As the stream of life flows on, and emotions rise and fall, and stories rise and fall, and beliefs rise and fall, and thought patterns, right? How many of us believe still things that we believed last year and we've come to know and understand this year? Oh, perhaps I was wrong about that. Right? Perhaps now that I have more information or more experience, okay? So really, when we talk about what's happening on Purim, why do we say Purim is high? My teacher last night was asking me, he said, my son shared with me that the Alter Rebbe says that the lights of Purim are higher than Yom Kippur. And he said, number one, we're not chayav karet for breaking Purim. We are chayav karet for breaking Yom Kippur. So wouldn't it seem that Yom Kippur is higher, right? Kivyahol, right? Good morning, welcome Zoe. Right? Number two, Yom Kippur is from inside the Torah. Purim is dirabanan, made up by our holy masters. I'm just laying it out on the table, right? So what is it about this consciousness and this experience, right, that is the quote unquote higher? Okay? So let's be very intentional for a moment to review that sentence. La Yehudim hayta ora, light, simcha. We're told that we need to talk about then what is this thing? If I'm going to be getting a lot of it tonight and tomorrow, what is it? How do I tune into the channel, right? Ora, simcha, sason. We'll pay a little bit less attention to sason today. Sason is another form of happiness. Yakar. Now this is probably the one central word, simcha and yoker of Purim. Okay, simcha translated as joy, and yoker translated as value. Value. And we could say that value, let's give what we mean by that. Worthiness, worth, preciousness. Preciousness. How do you treat something when it's precious? When it's of infinite value to you, right? When you value it, right? That's going to be a value that we're going to be learning about and practicing, meditating upon, and trying to receive in this Chag, right? The value of what we're going to say soon, of what, right? And it's going to be very deeply connected to dignity as well, right? Because of the value of my own self, of my own shama, of my own body, of Hashem's creating me, the value that I have to the Creator, all of these things, and how knowing the value of something and knowing how to relationship with it from a place of valuing yourself and it changes everything. Okay? This is not something we talk about on Yom Kippur, but it is something that comes up again and again on Purim. Now, this is not a Moshe Rabbeinu class, but I just want you to notice that in the very first word of where we're going after the Mishkan, Vayikra, remember the Aleph is Se'ir, is Katan, is little, right? Vayikra Moshe, but it's Vayikra and the Aleph is right. So it says Vayoker, and the value of Yoker. This is a big theme, right? Right? Zachor et asher asa Amalek, asher karcha baderech. Same word, kar, yoker. The opposite of valuing something is to be cold and indifferent and cynical and closed to it. Okay? Yoker, kar, coldness, disinterest, apathy, devaluing it. Right? That's what it says, right? Don't be of those who sit among the Moshav Leitzim. Now, as a medical clown, I have to say I take great offense to what David Amelech said. You do not want to sit next to her. Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay, so what does he mean here? He means a kind of mocking, a laughter that closes and disconnects you, as opposed to chamla. Chemla is compassionate, warms everything. Spring, everything's fine, right? That warm, that creates warmth. Okay, so he says like this. So just remember, this is going to come up again and again and again. Now, I'm not giving a class on this. There is recordings from the last 2 years. If you want to go into these classes on Purim, on Esther, right. But I'll just drop it in because it's yummy and we can't resist for 2 seconds, right? Remember, it says that also Esther is yarok. She's green. Dollars are green. Jody pointed out to us last year, right? And remember, to devalue the source of life is to spill carry. Carry means semen, okay? The seed of life, right? You understand the connection? Did you guys catch that connection? Right? Carry is spilled seed, and it's to devalue the essence of life. Right? Wasted. And we're not saying it from morality and from shame or none of those places. The opposite. We're saying if you had liquid gold, what would be, how would you relationship to it? Right? How would you relationship with it? You certainly wouldn't relationship with it through fear, right? You would, but and we hope not, but would you relationship with it with a certain, with awe, with a reverence, with a preciousness, with a certain fear around how valuable it is, right? So you don't want to keep it in conditions that, you want to study up what are the best conditions, right? What will be the most protective space for it? So it's this kind of energy. And we don't just mean male seed, okay? We mean, right? We mean one drop of consciousness, one drop where I wake up and I realize there's a me dreaming this experience. One drop of this, how precious that is. One drop where I wake up and there's a tiny little glitch and a gap, and I realize there's a me having this experience of this story, of this emotion, of this belief. So who's that me? Who's the me that's having the experience? You understand? And when I can pull up and into the oneness of that me having the experience, everything looks different. Is that making sense? Making sense to people? We're going to say more. Okay. Shekhinah manifests. We know from Torah that this energy, it's difficult for it to land where there is heavy-heartedness. First word, Shekhinah, presence of the divine presence, right? And we do learn that this energy does manifest in a place of joy. And one of the things that we learn is we can create those conditions of whatever this is, joy. We don't know what it means yet. We're going to throw out Adjalo Yada, everything we think we know about joy, to learn what our holy masters actually give us over experientially. What is joy? Okay. For now, we're going to say joy can be called forth and aroused from a type of music. It's not all music, right? Some music brings us into negative states, right? There's music that arouses within us, and we'll say what it is in a moment. The experience of joy. I'm going to say what that is in a moment. So what is this experience? So we begin by saying there's a very big difference between happiness and joy in Torah. Happiness might be connected to fun, schok, lesachek, and schok, to play, to have fun, right? We're not saying we can't have fun and be in simcha, but we're saying that's not what it is. Does that make sense so far? Okay. So when I say to you, think of your moments of most simcha, most people will think of peak moments of happiness in their life. Could be, oh, my grandson's race, oh, blah, 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 right? That's not simcha. That's not what we mean by simcha. Although we say, come to my simcha, come to my daughter's simcha, right? So what we tend to mean by that, and we want to be compassionately and lovingly conscious of this over Purim, because it can drop into this level, we think happy means I get something I want that's going to make me happy, right? I have a desire, and my desire gets fulfilled, and then I'll be happy. Right? The problem with this kind of happiness is that by and large, when I attain this thing, it wears off. The happiness from this thing or this condition passes, and I'm no longer happy. And then I need more to once again inject me into this, right, this place of happiness. Okay, so joy, simcha, is energy that wells up inside of me, you and us, when we let go of our focus on I and me. Say that again. Simcha wells up in me when I surrender into and release into my focus of when am I going to get what I want, and this is what I want, this is what I need, and how am I going to get it, and what if I don't get it, and what if God doesn't hear me, and what if I, right? And I relax and I surrender that, right? I drop into or open into an open-hearted connection to others and to our shared experience. Who needs trauma therapy? My nerve. Okay, let's say that again. Okay. We think that simcha means when I get X, Y, or Z, when my husband changes, right? When I'm forgiven, when I lose 10 pounds, when I find the shidduch, when my kids move in, when my kids move out, right? When I get this money, when I find a job, then I'll be able to be happy. Right now, I'm sorry. I have very good reasons that I'm sad, and I'm justified being sad because I didn't get these things. And the truth is, all human beings need these things. Okay, and so good, and that's true on one level of consciousness. What we're inviting and we're opening into is a level of consciousness that's more expansive than that. And Hashem is offering us this gift on Purim, right? To get a taste of allowing something in me to bubble up, right? Like champagne, right? Or sparkling cider for those of you who don't drink, right? Where I'm freed from my self-obsession and my self-consciousness. I can't be happy right now because I didn't lose these 10 pounds. Sorry. When I lose them, then I'll let you see me. Until then, I can't let you see me because I'm not yakal enough. I'm not valuable enough. So shame keeps knocking us out of the party. Okay. Everything you're going to see in this holiday are homeopathic remedies to heal shame. I get to cover my face so my light can come out without the fear that you're going to see me and judge me. You're not judging me. I'm an Indiani. I'm a cowgirl. I'm a whatever, right? And then when I feel that safety, my real light can come out and play, right? And join to your real light. Okay, so he says like this. So let's just take in for 1 second, right? I want to give us an experience of this. So I want to lay down some theory, but give us an experience. Okay. When we're able to let go of the stream of the constant stories, right, that we're in and that we tell ourselves, right? Ready? And for some of this can be quite challenging. Just be present. That is the entire avodah of Purim. And ironically, for some people to be present, they need to get drunk to shut off all the chatter, the fear, the worry, the self-judgment, the judgment of others or whatever, right? Okay, so now, so when do we tend to have these moments? So sometimes it's in the presence um, of stillness, right? Or of exquisite beauty, right? Or wonder, right? So we want to invite it in, but notice on Purim, Malacha is not a sur. We don't have the 39 levels of Shabbos where, we drive, we eat, we do all the things that we do in mundane existence. Unlike Yom Kippur, this is part of what we mean, that it's higher, because we're seeing if we can step into a spiritual practice to be present to the experience even of the mundane moments of life, and to pause. And I'm washing the dishes and I notice that I'm breathing. It means I notice that God here is with me as I wash the dishes. And I just allow that goodness in. Even though I'm worried about this and this didn't happen, that all pauses, and I allow myself to become present to the conditions of happiness. How yummy the warm water feels on my hands, how squishy the soap feels, right? What a joy it is that I own dishes. How pretty that little flower is that's painted on the dishes. Right? All those things that we say, when my trauma is healed, I'll be able to experience that. When I get my bills paid, but right now, excuse me, I'm too busy with the stresses of life for any of this beauty or goodness. Come back to me when I get happy. Right? So Purim, so this is, now you understand what we're saying. This is going to be the Geula experience. When I'm not so flooded with worry about the past, worry about the future, trauma that's clouding, it's not actually happening right now most of the time, but it's clouding the present moment, that I can't be present to myself or you or my life. I can't ever be present. I'm always sort of running after the train, if that makes sense, right? So we can say that the invitation is noticing all that is, being present in the mundane daily moments, the rising and the falling, the passing of the emotional stream. Oh, look, I was angry and now I'm okay. I was raging. I was sad. Now right? Oh, isn't that interesting how it passes and how it rises and falls, right? So the Orchot Tzadikim teaches that the midah of simcha is actually flows from shalva, tranquility. So it's not the kind of simcha like it's actually not that. We go there because we don't know how to be in the beingness, in the beingness, and we could do that. That's fine. It's also really good to, for a lot of people, it's a very necessary, right? But you can feel it's a different energy, right? It's more active, and this is more feminine, of receiving presence, receiving being. Right? We stand into it and we receive. Okay. So joy is any experience, say the Holy Masters, that we give our whole being to. It's release of the soul. It's a release of the soul. The release of the soul. Now, what I wanted to say is that to feel very, very sad and fully be present to your feeling very, very sad will actually give you a certain level of simcha. It's not right, to understand, because the sadness is not being truncated, it's not being judged, it's not being analyzed, it's not being figured out, it's not being solved. It's being allowed to be. It's being allowed. and there's a compassionate witnessing of it, right? That actually allows it to move on and become something else. You'll notice in Purim, every state becomes a different state when it's unobstructed and allowed to be. Sadness will eventually flow into a stillness or an acceptance or a tranquility. Right? Adar is going to peak and flow into Nisan. It's going to peak and flow into ER. States change. Winter turns into spring. Right? When it's allowed to be what it is. Okay. Okay. So I want to give a shout out to Sarah Leah Eklov, who mentioned this to me last night in a different form. And I don't want to take away from the meditation. So just to say, in any given moment, there are infinite reasons for suffering. Right now, people are being murdered, killed, raped. There's terror attacks happening. I'm not saying that to depress anybody. I'm saying because it's the reality, and we're trying to figure out as one being, how do I hold all of this infinite suffering and still open to this state called simcha? Isn't that callous? Isn't it not compassionate? Isn't it maybe lacking in empathy? Isn't it right? So one thing that we're going to begin to notice is simcha is an ability to be with the wholeness of everything. Joy and sorrow dwell in my heart. This is from one of my holiest teachers, not a Jew, Thich Nhat Hanh. He passed last year in January. You already looked it up. A Vietnamese monk, a Buddhist monk, but you know, all of these teachings are the teachings of all of humankind. Joy and suffering. Shlomo HaMelech said the same thing. Hevel Hevelim, right? It's all just passing breath. People think that sentence means it all means nothing. Hevel, it's all meaningless. Maybe, but it also means Hevel Hevelim, Hevel Hevelim, Hakol Hevel. It's all filled with breath that passes and moves on, that rises and falls. Images arise, and then they melt away. Right? It's we that gets stuck trying to hold the image, and that creates our suffering, right? And we can't help it because it's scary for us when images change, when forms change. Okay, so how much time do we have? Do we have 15 minutes? Amazing. We can never let go by force. Please understand this. And as healers and as practitioners, it is not useful to say to somebody, you just have to let go. If they could do that, they wouldn't come to you. They wouldn't need you. Right? If it's that easy, none of us are stupid, right? Just let go. Just let it go. Just forget that person. Just forget that trauma. Just let go. That's not what we mean. We mean surrender into what is, with it, around it. Let it be that which it is. Let it speak. Let it, no, not your story, not this happened to, that's a narrative. What is happening right now around that story? What is happening in the present moment? What is happening right now in my body? What is in this space? What is? What is? If I'm sad, that's what is. So that's interesting. Where in my body am I feeling that right now? Right? This is what's coming to all of us right now. Jews, non-Jews. I mean, I'm being very honest. I listen sometimes, and I'm going to share with you this wonderful, wonderful series of podcasts I listen to all these teachers now, Y.Y. Jacobson and Chase Taub and this man, Levi Derby, and I'm like, they're all teaching what I'm teaching. So why am I even needed in the world? Like, it's out there now. And part of me was like, oh, that's interesting. I don't know my place anymore. And another part of me is, that's right. That's right. Because Yeshayahu says this is what's going to happen when Geula comes. No longer will one person teach another. That is going to happen. No longer will one person teach another, because we will all have the direct experience. So this, if you do spiritual podcasts and breath work and body, enjoy your last hurrah, as I'm enjoying mine, because we're not going to need it anymore. Because, perhaps we'll be helping each other and continue to elevate, but more and more and more people are going to have direct experience. We're not going to be teaching each other this. We're going to be offering each other conditions to have your own experience. And then that person will help another person to have the experience. So I just want to, I did see you raise your hand, sorry. I just want to ask if people would, because I do plan on doing this on Purim. So would people rather have a Simcha meditation right now, or to go inside and learn some Hasidic text? Raise your hand if you want a meditation, and raise your hand if you want to do text. Okay, text. Okay, so what do you? Yes, absolutely. Yes, I am in the Nativot, Shalom, the Slonim Rebbe, the Rebbe from Slonim.
Good. Okay.
Okay, again, I'm going to cast a pour out here. Okay. For I, Hashem, have loved you. That's the name of one teaching. For I, Hashem, for I, your creator, love you, have loved you. Or Purim, is a state of functioning above nature. Which one is calling people? First, Ahavti etchem amal Hashem, for I have loved you, the great love, says the creator. Number two, Purim is a way of that Hashem, it's an energy that Hashem rules the world from, runs the program from, that is far above cause and effect. Okay. Aster min haTorah minayin, right? Where do we have a hint to Esther Hamalka from within the actual Torah, the 5 books of Torah, right? Shenema ve'anochi haster astil panai b'yom hahu, and it says it's hinted to in the pasuk from the Torah, and it says, and anochi. This is very specific. Why this word? Astil, I will be hidden within the hiddenness, the double hiding. It means I will be asleep and unconscious, this dream life, and I will not even know that I am asleep and unconscious to this dream of life. That's where the name Esther comes from. Good. Who's the Anochi? Beautiful question. Anochi Hashem Elokecha, asher hotziticha me'eretz Mitzrayim. Anochi is a state of observing the flow, where I don't get so identified with any emotion or story or belief or idea that I completely think that's me. That's me. That's that sad girl over there, that broken mother. That's me. That's not me. That's a small ani that had an experience. And therefore that experience colored the way that I look at this life. That's a veil. But Anochi Haster Astil et Panai, my true self will be hidden in the belief that that broken person down there, that's me. That's my whole identity. No, that's not my identity. My identity is I'm Yahweh. I am the living God flowing through me. I am that which I am, right? Meaning the Nefesh Eloki that flows through me. Divine presence, divine life force, right? So the Anochi is what the consciousness that sits, that's the Melech. When we say Melech in Yom Kippur, Malka, here it's in the feminine, Malchut. It's the presence and the awareness that is observing all the eyes and saying, that's not the totality of what or who you are. You can put on a different costume. That you can be the sad spot person, and you could be the abandoned wife, and it doesn't matter. That's a costume. That's one experience the lower eye is having. And it's real, and the pain is real. Don't mock it, don't diminish it, but understand it's one ani, and that ani is probably stuck in either Shushan Habira, right? Which is, by the way, beer capital, just saying. No, Shushan Habira, Bira, no, okay. Tough crowd. Oh God, is this thing on? Okay, so he says like this. So now, when you asked who is the Anochi is the creator, and Anochi is, Anochi is also without drinking, it's even softer. Anochi is the creator, and Anochi is the creator consciousness, the most elevated and integrated observer within me, the one who can know in meditation, I know that I am breathing. You understand? Who's knowing that I'm breathing? We're going to take a breath right now and notice your breath, and notice the eye that knows that you're taking a breath. Just for a minute, close your eyes. There's you. There's the experience of breathing in and out. There's the breather, there's the breath, and there's the one who is observing the breather breathe. Can you feel? Close your eyes. I know you're wanting your head's on to take you out of it. For you specifically, go in and have the experience. Can you just notice that there's some you that is aware that you're sitting here and is observing you have the experience of listening to this class? Now, see if you can bring that presence and be completely compassionate to the you that you're observing, not giving her any messages of critique or judgment, right? Look how stupid she is in her spiritual search, whatever, right? She looks really gross today, whatever the blah blah is. That's another part that needs love and compassion, by the way. That's a defense mechanism. It could be a Haman part, a Bilam part, it could be a Paro part, but we have names for these parts. They all live inside of us. Okay, to be clear, right? The part of you that wants to pull you out of the experience and mock it, that's called Amalek. Amalek. Okay, you might have heard of him once or twice. The part that fills you with doubt and goes, this is ridiculous or stupid, or oh my God, did my Rebbe approve this? Is this kosher? Maybe it's a Avodah Zarah. Maybe, right? All those parts, all the parts that are afraid to have the experience. Oh my God, maybe it's right. Maybe it's not from Har Sinai. Maybe it's came from India. Maybe all those parts. Just notice them. Hello. All right. Those are called the 70 nations that live inside of me and you. Another name for those are Ani parts. And then there's Anochi. Anochi is bigger than all the petty fighting between the 70 nations. Anochi is bigger than the meanness and the cruelty and the picking on, right? Anochi is very patient, very very compassionate. Yes, growing consciousness takes time. It's a process, and there's a rising and there's a falling, and there's an in and there's an out, and there's a rhythm. And Anochi, though, the difference between Anochi and Amalek is Amalek can hold that awareness too and be empathetic and dispassionate and cold and judgmental. Look at that stupid human, all drowning. I hate this expression, by the way, in their pity party. That is the cruelest thing to say to somebody when they are in pain. Get out of your pity party. If they could get out of their pity party, they would. Right? That's never yelling, hitting the rock. Moshe Rabbeinu learned is never a way to awaken, not yourself and not another. My theory is that Moshe Rabbeinu hit his own rock. Wake up. And Hashem's like, no need to hit the rock. Sing to the rock. Talk to the rock. You'll get there. It's okay. Right? Even if your efforts are to save the entire Jewish people, don't hit the rock. Your own rock. The rock is the seat of your own consciousness. I can't believe I did that. I said I wasn't going to eat sugar and then I ate sugar again. What is wrong with me? Don't hit the rock. It doesn't work. And you know what hitting the rock gets you? You'll never get into Eretz Yisrael that way. Not because it's a punishment, because those two energies are working against one another. Hitting the rock and learning how to be present with all that is. Right? Moshe's the poster child. He's an Adar baby because his transformation is to become the very qualities of Adar: gentle, empathic, honest, authentic, truthful. I'm not going to lie to myself, but I'm not going to lie to myself. I'm not going to lie to myself. I'm not going to lie to myself. Yes, there's parts of me that need help. It's okay. I'm getting there. It's okay. And I can actually be in joy right here, right now. Not when I get into recovery. Recovery is an ongoing life process. I'll never not be in recovery, hopefully, meaning the journey of recovery. Right? I'll never be some perfect person. It's never going to happen. And I think that's part of what Hashem is telling Moshe. My love, there's no graduation ceremony. You're just going to keep elevating into yet another unfolding of being present to what is. Right? And it's not, oh, now I'm okay. You're okay now. Not you'll be okay. You're already okay. It's okay. You're okay. It's all okay. My little daughter was scared of the water when she was little, and she would stand in the shower. And when I would bathe her, I would sing to her and go, "It's okay, it's okay," because she'd be like freaking out from the water. And it's so interesting that she learned to self-talk herself. When she was older, she would stand in the shower. I'd be showering her, and she'd go, "It's okay, it's okay, it's okay." I mean, it was a trauma response, but still, she was trying to tell herself, it's okay, you're okay, it's okay. Okay. But יש להבין למה מתייחס נס פורים על אסתר יותר מעל מרדכי. We want to know, why is the Purim miracle so much more centered around Esther and Esther's role, right? Right? Saying, and if you don't step into your role, right? It'll come from somewhere else, but you'll miss out, Esther. It's talking to the subconscious. Esther is the parts of us that we hate, the parts of us that we judge as ugly, as not yakar. As you understand, the fixing, the end of the Purim story is to say the fixing was to value it all, to value the hidden parts and to value the ugly parts and to value the broken parts, but know their parts. Parts. I let those parts be seen. I let them die. I let all the shame around them come up. But that's not my essence. That's not Anochi. It's some me having an experience, having a story. And that me is going to shed that story. Okay? Megillat Esther. This is part of the reason why we call it, ready? Megillat Esther, the revelation of all that I have been hiding from, and hiding. All the eyes that I don't have the courage to face because they're hidden in shame. All the eyes that I think nobody could ever love, nobody could ever accept. And the nobody, by nobody, I mean me. Let's be clear. Nobody on the outside is because this nobody doesn't know how to do it, right? Megillat Esther, the revelation of that which I have been hiding. Now, how did people get to hiding? Well, let's go back to the very first time hiding comes up in the Torah. Who knows? When's the very first time that people hid? Adam and Chava. What did they hide from? Hashem. What does that mean? Do any of you have an experience of hiding from Hashem? I do. Every day, multiple times. I'd have to remind myself, oh, hello. I actually can't hide from you. Forgot you see everything. And not you see everything like Santa Claus. He knows when you've been naughty. You see everything. There's a higher compassionate presence with me at all times. There's a higher compassionate presence with me at all times. We call that presence Shechina. When we open and create a Mishkan, right? An opening. Okay, it says like this. וכן יש להתבונן בעצם עניין פורים, שחז"ל הפליגו כל כך בגודל ערך קדושת היום. He says, so this is for my Rebbe, my teacher, you know who you are, not want their name out there. Who asked me yesterday, is it really true that Purim is really higher than Yom Kippur? So he asks here, why do all the holy masters go on and on and on about how this day is holier than Yom Kippur and any other time? Now let's do a little cute thing and switch out a word. Holier, yes, but also wholer. WHOLER. It's wholer. Yom Kippur, I'm going up and out, right? In order to connect with the divine presence. Purim, I'm opening to what is here. That's a snap moment. That's a burning bush moment. What is here? Where is God right now? Here in this experience, right here, right now. And again, one of my holy teachers and masters, Tiknat Han, said, pause and ask, what are the conditions for happiness, simcha, right here, right now? I can hear. I have a warm hot water bottle on my lap, right? It's not a fake honestly, that pulls me out of my center because it feels forced. It's not a force. It's an opening to a true noticing of the goodness being offered to me. What feels good right now in my space? Does my body feel good? Does it feel good to sit on a chair? Does it feel good to hear, be nourished by words of Torah? That's all God showing up for you. Right? That's all God showing up for you right now. Does it feel good to be in the presence of friends, of a chabura? Right? Does it feel good to you understand what I'm saying? Whatever it is, right? Does it feel good to be amongst people who I can speak openly about this part of my journey and not feel like a freak and a weirdo? Yes. Right? Right? In other words, he's saying simcha is opening to the conditions that are right here, right now. and letting them in, because a tactic that our defense says is, I cannot allow joy and goodness in because I'm still bad. I haven't earned it. I haven't earned this. I'm bad. I'm a bad girl. If you really knew how bad, no, but I know. Yeah, you're saying, but if you really knew how bad, this is Rabbi Nachman says, everyone thinks this Torah, they're the exception to this Torah. Everyone hears this Torah and says, but I really am that bad. You don't know me, right? And the Holy Masters say, no, that's an alive and well part called Haman Amalek that lives inside every single one of us that has a conscience. And some people, it's been numbed, right? Asher kar chabaderech, it's been frozen. They can't even access that part of themselves. Never, right? Okay, so he says, De'ita b'tikunei Zohar, it's brought down in the Tikunei Zohar, shehu keyom HaKippurim, that it's as holy as the day of Yom Kippur, u'b'kitvei ha'ari HaKadosh, in the writings of the Arizal, ita sheyesh inyanim, shebepurim mofia or yoter miyom HaKippurim. There are levels of consciousness that are present and available on Purim that are not even available on Yom Kippur. Now, let's say that the most obvious one of that is the interconnectivity of all of us, our shared experience. Yom Kippur, I'm going in and I'm being with me and my creator. And that's a very intimate and personal experience. Purim, I'm having that as a shared experience, the entire look at this collective story that we're living. Look at the collective awakening of getting out of our selfishness and spending an entire day worrying that other people's lacks should be filled. You should have money and you should have bracha and you should have yummy cake, gluten-free and sugar-free and whatever, right? And that, look at that energy and look what we're generating and look at how that's going to affect reality forever. It's going to affect the little guy sitting on his llama, in Tibet, because it's all an energy. And can you imagine the effect of 27 hours of constant attention and putting our awareness on the goodness of our life, the goodness of being alive, the goodness of receiving, the goodness of giving, the goodness of being alive to have these experiences, right? And what that does and how it affects the collective reality and playing field. Of course, we go from there into Purim, Pesach. You understand kind of what I'm saying? We're generate, and then of course it's a day that miracles are spilling out everywhere because the collective vibration has the ability. Now, are there people throwing up in their soup? Yes. That's where they are holding in consciousness right now. It's okay. Everyone is waking up at their own nativ, their own pathway. There's a derech, that's the Jewish derech. There's nativot, pathways. And everyone has to be in their own pathway. They have their own time frame and their own time schedule and their way they wake up. Some people wake up by falling. That's a common, right? A baby learns how to walk by falling. That's fine. That's the rise and fall of consciousness. It's fine. Some people will get super drunk on Purim and then they'll throw up for, a whole day after, and then they'll be like, oh, I don't think I'll do that next Purim. That's fine. They've learned something. It's all fine. It's all good. It's all lessons. It's all good. We all learn from our mistakes. I guarantee you Hitler learned from his mistakes on a soul level. He had to have learned from mistakes. He killed himself. He wasn't able to face it. That means what is he not able to face? I don't know. Okay, so the Arizal says, right? By the way, this is why we say that when Mashiach comes, right, pig will be kosher. Are we gonna, I really hope that doesn't mean we're gonna be sitting around eating, bacon sandwiches. It's talking about that energies that right now are too dense and dark for us to elevate, right? Those stories are too difficult for us. We can't deal with them right now. We will have the consciousness at some point, collectively and singularly, to be able to elevate those stories.
So let's say on the way to school, someone gets really, does something.
Let's say,
Let's just say.
because that never happens.
And then they start beating themselves up, like, or even like the days after, like, I mean, we still a little out of this for what they did, and it's not like. The better responses to this.
And offer it compassion. Don't beat the rock. Now, Hod LaYehudim means I take accountability. Hod is I take accountability. I look at the truth of what my choices set into action. And if I need to make an amends, I make an amends. I don't hide. I don't hide from what I've created. I face what I've created through my mistakes. I could not have done better because my consciousness was not holding there. But now I step into my Yehuda and I say, wow, I was really out of consciousness. And what can I do now to fix the chain of events, if anything, that I set off with the choices that I made? Because I did not know better. I didn't know better. Who would willingly, even a masochist who willingly hurts themselves, that's a defense mechanism. That's the best we can come up with to deal with the story as it is right now. And one day we'll learn a better way. Does that make sense? That's why it's a Megillah, because it's more tools are being revealed to us. More consciousness is being offered into the space, more compassion. And then therefore, that helps us to take accountability, to make different choices, and to grow. Right? And everything will, what Hashem has implanted into everything is, ready for this, is what Cook says, we grow even against our will. We grow even against our will. Meaning there's force that's for goodness and light that's embedded into every creature and being that it wants, right? Why does a tree know that I'm going to grow like this, but I'm going to seek out the sun? Even when I'm twisted, I'm going to seek the sun. The sun is a symbol, right, of Moshe Rabbeinu, right, of the Shamesh, of being of devoted service, of the one true light. The one true light of the highest, most compassionate, most inclusive, most forgiving consciousness. Do you know why we say it's a day like Yom Kippur? Ready? Purim is a day of forgiveness that's deeper than Yom Kippur. Purim, I ask you for forgiveness by letting you know how much I love you. I don't have strength anymore to go back into I did this and you said that and you said this, and I'm too exhausted to do that. So all I can say is, please set a reset button on me. I messed up. I'm growing in consciousness. Please be patient with me, and I love you. And here's something yummy for you. Right? That's that. You see why that's deeper than Yom Kippur? Yom Kippur is now we're going to sit down with the therapist. I said this and you said that, and it's exhausting. Right? It's as my old buddy once said, it's a headache and a dray. You know who you are. Okay, who needs it? Right? This is I think when men get resistant to women, let's talk about it. When they're like, can't talk about it, right? Okay, let's not talk about it. Let's Purim it out. Purim it out means we accept everything that happened. We accept that it needed to happen. We accept that it hurt. We accept that it was good. We accept that it was bad. We allow. We allow each other to make mistakes. We allow each other to do tshuva. We allow each other to be off the hook. Right? So my Rebbe, Reb Shlomo, would say, right, Yom Kippur is the day you ask forgiveness from each other. He says, Chanukah, but I don't really want you in my life anymore. I can't point that direct to anybody, right? Right? I forgive you. I don't want to be friends with you. Don't call me, but I forgive you, right? Okay, that could be a Yom Kippur level of forgiveness, right? Because it has an awe, it has a yira around it, right? Then Hanukkah comes in, and I'm like, but what happened to the light between us? This mom is really sad. We forgive each other, but we live on other sides of the city, and right, we try not to run into each other. This is not autobiographical, by the way, right? When does the light come back that we're two souls that are having a journey? Or we're 5 souls, or we're a community of souls, right? And let's forgive each other. And let's mamish start a daf chadash. And this is a beautiful Purim practice, right? And it could be so hard to do this that we have to do it through a third party. We have to send someone else to say, they want you to know that they love you. Who did that? Aaron Cohen. I want you to know he really feels bad. I want you to know she really feels bad. And that opens our heart. It softens us. If we're going to say anything about Purim, you ready? It's about softening. Become as soft as you can on Purim. Let your belly be soft. Let your heart be soft. Right? Let your stories be soft. No judgment. That's why we say, because Yom Kippur is Yom Hadin. It's justified judgment. It's tzedek. We're asking forgiveness from the judgment. We're asking that the judgment be sweetened. On Purim, we're saying, could we let go of judgment for 5 minutes? For 27 hours? Could we let go of judging ourselves, each other, our stories, our parents, our children, our lovers, our boyfriends? I promise you, if you do it for 24 hours, you will be such a different person. You let me know. I'll let you know. We'll make a pact. And if we do it for 2.7 seconds, we'll also be proud of ourselves. Okay. We bathe the world in compassion. I know on the outside you look like a burglar. I'm just saying a costume, and in the inside you are the light of consciousness that it's trying to get to know itself, and you're messing up because you don't know yourself yet. Aster, you're hidden from yourself, and I get that. And if I have that awareness, I should go out and drink sparkling apple cider l'chaim, right? Because that means Hashem has given me a second of being more awake. If I'm even, you know what I'm saying? If I have that awareness even for a moment, right? That means I did a tremendous amount of work, and Hashem gave me total unearned grace to have a second of the awareness of like, I might be amongst the one that has a second of being awake a day. That's huge. By awake, we mean I'm aware that I am the unfolding of consciousness, and that I mess up, and that I rise and I fall, and I over-identify with my costume, and I think I am my costume, and I cry if my costume gets torn or dirty because I think it's me. And I hate my costume and I want another costume. And how come she got a better costume? And that's all of that. And don't think it only happens on the level of children. It happens on the level of our mochin dekatnut, our child. It happens. How come you gave her a better costume and she got to be the pretty bride and I had to be the whatever? Believe me, it comes out in every form. And it's like, smile at it. This is, we're going to take upon ourselves to have an intentional Purim. Everything that goes wrong. And this man told me yesterday, again, I don't know if he wants to be quoted, it's a different person. And he said, Hakol mishdabesh latova. Everything goes wrong in the service of goodness. It's going wrong, but it's okay. Hakol mishdabesh latova, because they always say hakol hafoch latova, hakol latova. It's hakol mishdabesh latova. it's okay. It's and so every time something like goes wrong, I don't see you. And even if you're trying to wear green and be all estery, I do not see you. ואנוכי הסתר פנים. You know what I'm going to say. You know what I'm going to say. Give me my line. Come on.
Paragraph.
Can
One more
I-
paragraph.
That's
One
right.
more passage,
That's
One
right.
more idea.
Right.
One more.
Right. Okay, good. Thank you. I'm glad we got our act down.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. We'll be back, folks. Okay. 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 So he says like, so this is our medicine practice for Purim. We're gonna smile at everything on Purim. We're gonna smile at it. Self-judgment. Hello. Hi. Right. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just ate that whole cake. Hey, it was really yummy. Thank you, Hashem. It's okay. Softness. What did it feel like? And this is the thing. We're trying on for 27 days what it feels like to live in a soft world. To move 27 days. That would bring us to Pesach. מתנבא ואינו יודעת שהיא מתנבא. Okay, yeah, 27 hours. לא סתם 27, right? 127 מדינות. Right? 127, right? Like Sarah, it's the fixing of the Shekhinah. Fixing of the Shekhinah. 27 hours before. Okay, yeah. So before Judy comes and chases me away. Okay, so he says like this. שמתגלה הארת יסוד אבא שתמיר וגניז בכל העיתים והזמנים. He says, because what we're opening to on Purim is the elevated consciousness of whatever you want to call it. Here it's called Abba, the compassionate father, the compassionate Bina, the compassionate mother, right? Chachma and Bina are also, right, the compassionate grandparents. In other words, whatever the Pamalia Shalmala comes up for you as the compassionate one that holds all of the higher consciousness, all of the patience that you need, all of the belief in you. Esther, is that you?
It's coming in 3 minutes. Come on.
I really am finishing the paragraph for real. Ubemeor v'shemesh, and it's brought down in the Meor v'shemesh, Rabbi Kolonimus Kalman Shapiro. That's the great grandfather of the Piazetzner Rebbe, also Kolonimus Kalman. Okay. כתב שבכל שנה בימי הפורים, that every year on the days of Purim, מתנוצץ אור החכמה ומופיע בכל העולמות יותר משבס קודש. That the light of consciousness of the compassionate one who just, Chachma is the light that just wants to give good, just wants to give good. And how do we receive it, by the way? By being, not doing, by being in the beingness. Okay, he says that light shine is more present on Purim than on Shabbos. More present on Purim than on Shabbos. Right? Now, this isn't just like a cute Torah that someone made up. My teacher said to me, it's like a Torah someone made up because they have an agenda. They have a dogmatic agenda. And I'm like, I hear you. So let's try it out as a spiritual practice. Okay. And he says, וכן אמר חז"ל, כל המועדים יהיו בטלים, וימי הפורים לא יהיו נבטלים לעולם. He says, other holidays will fall away. And the reason is because those holidays are structures to give us a taste of certain levels of consciousness. And we won't need them anymore. It's like training wheels on a bicycle. But where we're going is the light of level of consciousness of Purim. So that's not going to fall away. That's where we're going, is to live in an infinitely compassionate world where we help each other give each other everything we need in order to feel full and whole and elevate, right? Offer each other forgiveness, offer each other yoker, honor and respect, especially for men. That's extremely important. It's also important for women, but for men, it's their currency. It's their currency. Our currency is love and to be desired, and their currency is to be honored and respected. Okay. But unfortunately, wait, no, please, Bennett, please don't get up. 1 second, please, let's just ground it for 1 second. Sorry, because otherwise all the energies just goes whoosh. Just one second. If someone can just take anything you received, turn it into a tefillah, a bracha. It's very important when you receive all of this light to just take a moment to ground it into your being, that it's real for you, that you take upon yourself something that will bring this into practice, into integration, not just like, "Ooh, that was cool. Okay, bye." Hold on, let's just pause for a second. Anybody want to?
Yeah. Compassion is like, it feels that it should be all love and all light, and it feels like it's compassion is fine, but one coming full circle, like sometimes in those moments you can't be as compassionate as you want to. Awesome. Like really noticing that I
That's
is that awareness, that elevation. So my God, having a little bit more awareness of those small things. So not even a little bit. Oh yeah. You know, a little bit more than you. It's just like.
I told them, stop, go leave. They wouldn't leave. Happens every week, by the way. You should talk to them. Okay. All right, bye, lovies. We have the next class coming. 1 second. Stop.